Welcome to This is Genius on Quaver TV, where we dive deep into the tracks that changed the course of music history. Today, we're breaking down one of the most pivotal songs in hip-hop, a track that not only defined a generation, but redefined the very essence of the genre. The message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five was more than just a song. It was a call to action, a raw reflection of urban struggle, and a blueprint for how hip-hop could be used to tackle social issues head-on. Stick with us as we explore the legacy of this iconic track, the genius of Melle Mel's lyrics, and the groundbreaking beat that still resonates in hip-hop today. In 1982, hip-hop experienced a major shift with the release of The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. This track was a game changer, introducing a depth of social consciousness and narrative that had never before been seen in mainstream hip-hop. At the forefront of the song's impact was Melle Mel, whose voice and lyrics spoke to the harsh realities of inner-city life. The song, built around a powerful beat and Melle Mel's compelling storytelling, set a new standard for what hip-hop could accomplish both musically and socially. From its production to its cultural influence, The Message marked the beginning of hip-hop's transformation from party anthems to a platform for societal reflection. The group, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, led by DJ Grandmaster Flash and fronted by Melle Mel, was already known in the early hip-hop scene for their innovative sounds and high-energy performances. They had made a name for themselves in the late 1970s with energetic tracks, but it was The Message that truly propelled them into the cultural spotlight. Melle Mel's lyrics, in particular, were deeply personal and politically charged, detailing the struggles and frustrations of urban life. In a genre often criticized for being too focused on escapism and fun, The Message was a raw and gritty look at the world many lived in. Mel's vocal delivery on The Message was unique and influential. His voice, full of grit and urgency, conveyed the reality of a community struggling with systemic neglect and urban decay. His most memorable lines, like, "It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under," capture the overwhelming feeling of hopelessness that many people in these communities faced. The image of living in a jungle, where survival was a constant struggle, resonated with listeners, providing a snapshot of the despair that was often ignored by mainstream society. But it's another line in The Message that we're focusing on today. "It was plain to see that your life was lost. You were cold and your body swung back and forth. But now your eyes sing the sad, sad song of how you lived so fast and died so young." This lyric hits deep. It's a blunt and tragic portrayal of a life lost too soon. Let's break it down. First, "It was plain to see that your life was lost" gives us an undeniable image. Death was inevitable. It wasn't a surprise, it was a tragic reality that was visible to all. The following lines, "You were cold and your body swung back and forth," paint a graphic and disturbing picture, likely describing a victim of violence, their body hanging lifeless. The starkness of this image forces the listener to confront the brutality of the life being discussed. Then the line takes on a reflective tone with, "But now your eyes sing the sad, sad song of how you lived so fast and died so young." Here, the song moves beyond just a description of death and into a reflection on the choices that led to it. The eyes metaphorically sing a song of regret, highlighting the consequences of a life lived recklessly fast without thought for the future. This line speaks to the way hip-hop often serves as a platform for reflection, using storytelling to convey deeper messages about life, death, and the the choices people make. The phrase, "how you lived so fast and died so young," is haunting, encapsulating the idea that in these urban environments, many young lives are cut short because of violence, crime, and systemic neglect. The lyric isn't just a lament for the individual, but for a larger social issue. It's a statement about how the system has failed these people, offering few opportunities for those living in these circumstances to change their fate. This line is a reminder of the fragility of life in marginalized communities, where youth are often caught in a cycle of violence, poverty, and hopelessness. It also demonstrates the power of hip-hop as a form of social commentary, pushing beyond just entertainment to engage with real-world issues. Melly Mel was not just rapping. He was telling the hard truths that needed to be heard. The production of the message was another significant departure from earlier hip-hop records, which had relied heavily on party beats and danceable grooves. The track was produced by Ed Juke Booty Fletcher, with help from Sylvia Robinson, who was also responsible for the production of many early hip-hop records. The beat was minimal, yet hypnotic, with a slow, steady rhythm that allowed Melly Mel's powerful words to take center stage. The pulsating bass line and sparse percussion created a mood of urgency and tension, mirroring the themes of the lyrics. The track's somber tone was a stark contrast to the more upbeat tracks that defined early hip-hop, and it set a precedent for future records that would focus on social issues rather than just entertainment. One of the most striking aspects of the message was its lyrical content. Melly Mel and the Furious Five didn't shy away from tough topics like crime, poverty, drugs, and police brutality. The lyrics, "It was plain to see that your life was lost, you were cold and your body swung back and forth," paint a tragic picture of the consequences of these issues. This stark portrayal of death and violence was not only a warning, but also a call to action for change. The song's message was clear. The problems in these communities were not isolated incidents, but a reflection of a broken system that needed to be addressed. This willingness to address uncomfortable topics was part of what made the message so impactful. It was a reflection of reality in a way that hadn't been done before in the genre. The influence of the message on hip-hop can still be felt today. The song was not only a breakthrough moment for Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, but for hip-hop as a whole. Its success proved that there was a significant audience for socially conscious rap, and it opened the door for other artists to explore similar themes. Public Enemy, KRS-One, and others would follow in the footsteps of the message, using hip-hop as a platform to speak out against injustice, inequality, and oppression. This marked the beginning of a new era in hip-hop, one where the genre would become a tool for social change. The track's influence can also be seen in the way it was sampled and referenced by later hip-hop artists. For example, Snoop Dogg used the lyrics from the message in his track 2 of America's Most Wanted, alongside Tupac Shakur. Snoop borrowed the famous line, "I got my hand on my gun 'cause they got me on the run," adding his own spin on it to capture the challenges faced in the streets. By doing so, he paid homage to the pioneers of social consciousness in hip-hop, while also integrating those themes into his own work. Ice Cube, another influential figure in hip-hop, also tapped into the legacy of the message by using the song's beat in his 1992 track, Check Yourself. The beat, which had become iconic in its own right, provided the perfect backdrop for Ice Cube's hard-hitting lyrics. Cube's use of the beat was a reminder of how the message laid the foundation for later artists to build on, both musically and thematically. The beat, with its unmistakable bass line and steady rhythm, had become a signature of hip-hop's golden era, and its use by Cube in Check Yourself cemented its place in the genre's history. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's iconic track, The Message, 1982, is a pioneering work in hip-hop, notable for its innovative production. While it doesn't rely heavily on samples, it incorporates elements from earlier funk and soul music, particularly in its rhythm and bass-driven structure. The track features a repetitive bass line and sparse drum programming, reminiscent of the influences of artists like James Brown. Although the message doesn't sample specific songs, its instrumental arrangement was groundbreaking for its use of minimalism and synthesized sounds, creating a gritty, urban atmosphere that perfectly matched its socially conscious lyrics. This fusion of styles helped bridge the gap between emerging hip-hop and earlier genres like funk and soul, leaving a lasting impact on the future of rap production. Beyond its influence on other artists, the message also had a profound impact on the broader cultural landscape. The song introduced hip-hop to a larger audience, bridging the gap between the genre's underground roots and the mainstream. It challenged listeners to think critically about the world around them and the systemic issues affecting marginalized communities. In doing so, it expanded the potential of hip-hop as a tool for social change, showing that it was not just about music, but about using the art form to communicate deeper messages. The message also marked a shift in the way the media viewed hip-hop. Before the song's release, hip-hop was often dismissed as a fleeting trend or a novelty genre. But the message proved that hip-hop could be more than just entertainment. It could be a vehicle for cultural and political expression. The success of the song helped legitimize hip-hop as a powerful art form and social commentary, forcing the mainstream to take notice of its potential to spark conversation and incite change. The media attention surrounding the message also paved the way for hip-hop artists to use their platform for activism. Melly Mel's honest and Wayne Brown, unflinching portrayal of urban life in his lyrics set a precedent for future artists who would use their music to address systemic issues. Hip-hop was no longer just a soundtrack to parties and fun. It was becoming a voice for the voiceless, a tool for resistance and awareness. The song's success also signified a shift in how the genre was perceived by the public, from a passing fad to an essential part of the cultural landscape. As we look back at the message and its profound influence on hip-hop, it's clear that its legacy is far-reaching. From the next generation of socially conscious rappers to the global impact of the genre itself, the message remains a touchstone of hip-hop's power and potential. Mel's lyrics, especially the haunting lines, "It was plain to see that your life was lost. You were cold and your body swung back and forth. But now your eyes sing the sad, sad song of how you lived so fast and died so young," continue to resonate because they speak to the universal truths about life and death, choices and consequences, and the stark realities that often go unspoken. The line transcends its original context and speaks to the larger societal issue of youth violence and the consequences of living fast without considering the long-term effects. It's a sobering reminder of how systemic issues can lead to untimely deaths, and how those who are lost are often remembered not just for their struggles, but for the lives they didn't get to fully live. The lyric is a stark reflection of the fragility of life in marginalized communities, where the cycle of violence and neglect often claims the lives of young people before they can reach their full potential. In hip-hop, where the personal and the political are often intertwined, this line stands as a powerful testament to the genre's ability to speak truth to power. It reminds us that hip-hop isn't just about rhymes and rhythms, it's about using art to shed light on the issues that matter. Mel Mel's lyricism in the message is a call to action, urging listeners to pay attention to the lives lost, the systems in place that allow such tragedies to happen, and the necessity for change. As we conclude today's episode of This is Genius, it's important to recognize that the message was more than just a song. It was a turning point in hip-hop's evolution. It challenged conventions, broke new ground, and sparked a movement that continues to inspire artists to use their platform for social change. The song's legacy endures because it continues to speak to the struggles that many still face today. The message, in the end, is simple but profound. Change is necessary, and it starts with us. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the message and the lasting impact of its lyrics. Don't forget to subscribe to This is Genius for more episodes where we break down the tracks that changed the course of music history. Until next time, keep listening, keep questioning, and remember that every lyric has a story worth telling.